know, if it's Tuesday, it's all about the docket. That's right. Edwin Obuya, Philip Murto, Fanya Mambo Kinuthia in the house. Gentlemen, what a week.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning. How are you, gentlemen?
We are fine.
Kabisa,
Mungu anasaidia kufikia sasa.
Look, shall we start on a high note alafu tuteremke ama
tuanzie juu.
Tuanzie juu, eh?
Tuanzie juu.
Okay, good. Paris Olympics.
Yes.
In the end, we were late to the party.
But we arrived.
But we
for once you saw Kenyans coming together.
Yeah.
And then people were talking as patriotic Kenyans. There was no, there was no Gen Z, there was no DM,
there was no reject.
Kenya Kwanza, there was no rejecting. and at some point,
still you're forgetting that even some of the medals that went to Uganda were still ours.
Yeah. And every other country,
Bahrain and they were speaking their language.
Yes.
They were speaking one language at the finish line, which I have always believed and thought. There was a time when they had these Olympic qualifiers. Sometimes they usually stage them at the Nyayo Stadium. And you just go and watch the qualifiers. Now, I remember there was one race where the top 20 people had reached the Olympic qualifying time, especially this long distance.
Right.
The first 20 had already reached the Olympic qualifying time. Whereas our neighbors are struggling to get one athlete who can reach the Olympic. So they could only take number 1, 2, 3. My thinking and feeling is that Kenya needs to open up a desk where we come and write the names of all those people who've reached the Olympic qualifying time. And then we agree to sell them for a fee to all the other countries. So that even if the person who wins is from Bahrain, it's a Kenyan. If it's from
we celebrate them.
We just come and say, you know what? In all distance races, because I can tell you, there's so much talent that goes to waste. You can only take number 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it's as painful as having 50 people who've hit the Olympic qualifying time, and you can only take 3. So 47 are left disillusioned.
And I think
what we need to do is to start talking to countries like Morocco and all the other African countries that
take our guys
and tell them, for this fee, take our people. House them well, pay them well. As long as you don't change their names, you can have them there and they are flying the Kenyan, the whatever flag you have. So that we shall have a guy there called Kipruto, but he's running for the US. That's right now.
Now that is a formal.
We win all the gold medals. We still say how many work from Kenya.
We already have it happening, but through the back door.
Yes.
You've seen daily. I think the Daily Nation has done how the athletic kings are mincing cash from these talents. Probably some of those that feel wasted when it comes to picking from the like 50. Yes. When an offer comes under the table, unaweza enda huko and you make your kill. Why not? I think that is why most of them are opting for
Bahrain.
Bahrain and
it's just formalized.
Qatar,
US, Kazakhstan. Our men didn't do that well. We only had one gold. Our men only won one gold, and we won by a vest, like Fanyamambo says. That is Wanyonyi. But all these other races, we performed dismally. And I think as much as we have talent, I think it's a time we need to embrace sports science. I don't think we have sports science in the country. I think there's only one person who.
But sorry to cut you. You can't blame the men. They didn't have Jimmy Wanjigi's wife to support them in the race. Their wives need to take a leave from Jiggy Wanjigi's wife. If they take a leave from her and support their male athletes the way she supports her husband, then for sure they will win.
We'll get to Jimmy in a moment. Getting jiggy with it.
Yes.
In mean Abuya, the GOAT.
I think it's time. He should call it a day. He's still a GOAT. I remember when Bolt was retiring, he didn't finish his last race. I remember it was the relays in London. And he didn't finish the race, and he cost Jamaica a medal. And so at times you read your body and learn your body and tell yourself, I think I've done enough. I think my body has taken the match it has taken, and you can't take it away from Kipchoge. He's still a GOAT.
He's still the GOAT.
Yeye ni mbuzi bado.
Na si kondo.
Yeye ni mbuzi bado. Huwezi mnyang'anya hiyo.
Huwezi kumnyang'anya. 15 marathons he's won. Broke the world record. I mean,
run under 2 hours.
2 hours. Yes, 1:59:40.
That's a GOAT.
Races like the steeplechase
were
hours. It was a given.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. You remember the dance by Kemboi?
Oh man.
But I think what we haven't done.
Oh, Ezekiel Kemboy.
What we haven't done, which I feel is there's so many other categories in the Olympics we haven't participated. I don't think you people have been to Kambani, and you see how those people raise an arrow and aim at a bird without, just chua, and it's on the ground. Things like archery, I think if we start saying, let's now start getting these people from Kambani and saying, come here, I think they would always hit that gold eye very quickly. We would always win those goals very quickly.
Na watu wa kurusha mawe?
I have been to Magadi for a long time. Yes, now that's what I was coming to.
Yes.
I've been to Magadi for a long time. You should see the way Maasais just jump aimlessly. Like, why are we not trying the high jump? You should see those people. I mean, set those things. When you go to some of the primary schools or some of the athletic events that happen within Maasai land, and you see especially the high jump, those men do really well. Those girls do very well.
And there's no sponge
and
for them
to... And we are not doing it here. We are not trying. I mean, you just talked about shot put. Somebody who throws a very big stone bigger than shot put. Zinafika zikiwa 8.
Returning officers.
And the returning the police have no idea how the stone became 8. These are the
That's a talent right there.
We should be saying,
yes.
Let us camp in that region and look for shot putters. Let us camp in Ukambani and look for archers. Let us camp in Maasai land and look for people who are doing long jump and high jump. And I assure you, we shall increase our basketball. Some of the things that China wins goals on, something like, I don't know, synchronized swimming.
Synchronized swimming, yeah.
And you wonder how those people are doing those things. We can also come up with our own categories of things.
My fear going forward is that the next Julius Yego will come on in 20 years' time. There's no continuity.
There's no investment.
No. Yes. Not necessarily. You see, first you get the wrong people and put them in sports. The people you are competing with, like now, for example, rugby. If you look at the Australian rugby team, the South African rugby team, they wake up in the morning. That is their occupation. I used to play rugby at some point. I used to play for Nondis, and then I went to KCB right after high school. And I can tell you, everybody used to work.
Like full-time jobs.
Evening, that's when you're coming to play 3 times a week. I'm telling you, Kenyans are talented. Even when Kenya was at its peak, the people you saw, all of them had jobs. You have things you do during the day. Kama ni mandazi utauza, mchana utauza. And then in the evening, that's the time for the gym. It's the time for exercise. It's the time for everything. And it's also time for your family if you have one. And those people still performed. Whereas a guy in South Africa wakes up and his principal job is to play for the Springboks of South Africa. So he works, he does everything just to make sure that they succeed. Kenya needs to get to the point where we start saying, wait a minute, who are we going to compete with? Someone who wakes up and the only job they do is play for their national team. And here you have a Kenyan, maybe he's a city hopper driver in the day and then during the evening, the one who's going to play. That's the problem. That's exactly what's happening.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lack of investment in sports.
Yes.
Because at some point, FKF league, the Kenyan league was being shown on DSTV. And we are getting sponsors. Clubs were getting money.
Yeah.
Nowadays, tunaonyeshwa hapi ni Azam, mama niko hapi TV gani. We just need some little investment, some little side
an incentive. Sasa wakikuja hapa watapewa kitu. Watapewa kitu.
Kuna wakati walipitisha
three. For gold medal is 3.
Na nyumba?
Hiyo ni
affordable housing.
Hiyo ni 7 anapeana.
No, honestly, we have 200,000 units, the president claimed. Why can't we give them, each of them, one affordable
unit.
housing?
One unit.
Lakini hata hizi 200,000 ziko wapi on Google Maps? Like pin.
Hiyo ziko kwa cloud.
At least the one in Bahrain. You have in Bahrain got a house and 32 million.
32 million.
So me, I'm just
anapata nyumba.
Cheptegei alipata SUV.
Yes.
Sio?
Nyumba, SUV na pesa.
I'm just pleading with the president because there is affordable housing and we want to believe it is there. Every athlete apewe moja.
Ziko wapi? Anyway,
we are believing. Getting jiggy with it. Jimmy Wanjigi.
Oh, good.
My goodness.
You know,
Ford Foundation.
I want to first, no, all of us, we have to put our hands together. I want us to take that just 2 seconds to clap for Jimmy Wanjigi's wife. That wife is
The wife.
Yeah, and all the men at home, wherever you are, I want you to celebrate Jimmy Wanjigi's wife. Because you see the problem with men and all of our social media, we are always bashing women. We are not saying nice things and kind things to them. And when they do something good, let us celebrate them. So today I'm calling on all of us, wherever you are as a man, to celebrate Jimmy Wanjigi's wife and to tell the people around you, or even if a wife, if you have one at home, just tell her she has set the standard, she has set the bar so high, and everybody has got something that they need to emulate. The reason I'm saying this is because, honestly, it's never about the person being celebrated. Because now you're going to hear some poor socialites on social media who like setting standards, and they have nothing but a borrowed wig saying that she's supporting Jimmy Wanjigi because he's rich. It's not about the wealth of the man being supported. It is about a very rich heart from a woman who has a very, very rich heart. I mean, look at her hairstyle. Ajava hizo wigs za 300,000, yet the husband can afford. Now watu wanaishi nyumba ya 2 bedroom ya 20,000, wanasumbua bana yao kila siku, buy me an expensive wig. Now we have a woman who has set an example. That it is from the abundance of her heart that she's supporting her husband.
Having said that,
and allow me to even preach today. You know, I was looking, when you look at the book of Proverbs, I think 21:9 and 21:19, it talks of it's better for a man to live on a rooftop than with a quarrelsome, nagging wife. The other one says it's better for a man to live in a desert than with a quarrelsome. And you know, a desert has scorpions, it has snakes, it has harsh weather, it has lack of water, it has, and God says in the Bible, he compares that situation and says a man who has a quarrelsome and nagging wife has a worse life than a guy in a desert. Yet God knows how the desert is. Even on a rooftop where it is raining. So Jimmy Wanjigi's wife, we celebrate you, and we call on people to be celebrated.
Having said that, sending in the ATPU. That was dramatic.
I just want to look at it from the drama that was there. I think we over dramatize some of these things like a movie. You know, this is one person we are following. Unajua anaishi wapi, you know who it is. Why would you send 50 policemen in that homestead? And
they still didn't find him.
They did find him. and you see now police, you know, dusting and taking evidence and everything. You know, it's a movie.
They're watching too much TV, eh?
Too much
TV. Like, you know, like what happened to when President Ruto's bodyguard, when he was deputy president, he was called Kemei. Yes, when he died, and you know, the former DCI boss, you know, came to TV and was doing and saying how he was shot, you know, and the whole dramatic scenes. And where up to now, where are the investigations?
They were dusting the walls for Jimmy Wanjigi's fingerprints in his house. Like they are not supposed to be there.
Really, you know, at times we over dramatize these things, and it's what makes Kenyans lose hope and trust in our police force, because you wouldn't be so mad to suspect that the Ninu was all those evidence was planted.
Right.
You wouldn't be crazy to suspect that, you know, the bombs that the grenades that were said to have been found there were put there by police, because, you know, at times you need to just do the right thing. You know, don't over dramatize.
Yeah, they bungled it, didn't they, Murutu?
Yeah,
they bungled the whole thing.
Now, kwani hiyo nyumba ya Wanjigi
ni
kubwa aje? You know, Uhuru tried looking for him,
and he couldn't.
7 years 4 days hakukumpata. Wakaenda wakakumpata.
Na amewaambia hivyo, hata wakienda saa hii hawatampata. But I don't know why they don't get it.
Baba alienda huko Wanjigi akasema sitoki. Because alijua labda baba
ametumwa.
So
the government.
and that's what, again, one of those things that, you know, Baba is also between a rock and a hard place. He went there, he's a friend of Wanjigi. He wants to wear the heart of the opposition, but he cannot speak because he's in government. And so anaenda tu huko kidogo anahepa because he can't speak.
He's become an amphibian.
Yes, because ajui kama ako kwa serikali ama ako kwa opposition. So the heart is in opposition.
Yes,
but the stomach is in kwa serikali. So inakuwa ngumu sana kuongea.
There was a cartoon where Mbadi was seated with Baba, and Mbadi is asking, so nikuwe nikituma ngapi kila mwezi? Alafu Baba, I think, responded to 500 million, itakuwa sawa. And people from Luo Nyanza are not so impressed, are not so amused about that cartoon. But having said that, it goes to speak about what the government of the day says and what it does. This thing about weaponizing institutions in the security institutions in this country, using the police to do these jobs that leave them with an egg on the face, on their faces, and then you have no explanation whatsoever on what transpired. By now, we should be seeing what is this that was so serious to warrant what we saw happen to Jimmy Wanjigi, to justify that, so that even Kenyans, one of the things the president was saying to his cabinet the other day was that they were not communicating so much, they were not telling Kenyans what they are doing so much. But these are some of the secrecies that make Kenyans even wonder what they're about whenever they say things like that. For example, if you want to do something like that, you want the country to believe this is a very dangerous person, you've displayed all these grenades and all that. How about telling us these are the documentation of these grenades, they are not supposed to be in his house, but they are in his house? How about, to this point, just saying we have taken a statement from the suspect, and this is how far it has gotten, so that we do not see the government as weaponizing the agencies. It said never again will those days ever happen in the country.
Is that what Ruto said, by the way?
That is what he said.
Yes.
He has been saying
we will not witness that happen.
He has been saying it
And
over
yet-
and over and over.
Yeah, Jimmy was kind enough to say we just left this house with a few bottles of water and stuff to go and help our Gen Zs.
Yes.
You know, he's a father of Gen Zs in
Correct.
his home.
Correct. Yes.
And then less than 5 minutes, they were attacked by so many police. They were in that cat and mouse chase to his house, and then he vanished. And no one is telling us what was
What's the
this
real
that they were looking for.
But
Yeah,
Jeff,
for-
if you want to know how badly this government fears Gen Zs, it is manifested by the amount of brute force they were using on Jimmy Wanjigi's house, because they believed he's supporting them. So in one hand they are saying they don't fear Gen Zs, but on the other hand they are sending brute force to. And I'm imagining the police station commanding, I don't know whether it is Muthaiga police station or wherever it is, because this was a whole police station taken to the door of Jimmy Wanjigi. So I'm thinking maybe they called G4S and told them we need some guards to come and man our police station. We are all going. They left nobody even at the Obi. And you know, police stations are never closed even on Christmas.
Yes.
But on Jimmy Wanjigi's holiday, they closed that police station. I think they must have looked for G4S or Askari Hatari to just come and man the police station for some time, because they carried the whole police station, everything, every equipment they had. They left their police station with nothing. So I think that kind of brute force is unacceptable. It doesn't make sense. I think if Jimmy Wanjigi had been called and told, present yourself, he would have presented himself with his lawyers. So that drama was unnecessary, without even a search warrant and all. It was unconstitutional, it was illegal, and it should not be allowed to continue happening in this country with this 2010 constitution. Then the other, we have no reason to have a constitution if those things can happen in broad daylight. I think it is wrong.
But there was an outcome from the whole thing. Stand by your man.
I like the way he caught them
With
off
no
guard.
makeup.
He got them off guard,
But the
and he was
video-
dancing somewhere. I was so happy, and he's got moved.
And the video.
You know, Jeff. Imagine that's your house, and that's your wife, and you have your daughter there inside that house.
safety of your family.
And the police are coming in, you know, pointing guns at you, and the wife is saying, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." You know, we might be talking about it because you are not there, but that image remains with you. That memory remains with you, especially as a kid, remains with you over and over and over again. It will take a lot for that image to get away from Jimmy Wanjigi's daughter, and that's what we are saying. Some of these things are just do it in a proper way. You know, get a warrant, go there. It wasn't that Jimmy was going to overthrow the state. He wasn't going to overthrow President William Ruto to warrant what was happening. You know, if it is a mistake of treason, you are allowed. You assume that can happen. If it is terrorism, you assume that okay, maybe that's allowed. But this Jimmy Wanjigi is a known figure in this nation, and so some of those things should just do it in a proper way. Don't antagonize and make the family have stress for nothing.
Yeah, it's giving him
We all need the number of the guy who manufactured his door. That door is something else. It's better than a concrete wall. So Kenyans are seriously looking for the number of that guy. I think every Kenyan house deserves that door. Especially if you are vocal against this government, you need such a door.
But he's gotten some brownie points, Wanjigi. Now he's got some brownie points going forward.
Yes.
So,
and a lot of sympathy. And a lot of sympathy.
I just wish that he was a politician. Unfortunately, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't inspire that. He can't be a William Ruto. He cannot, preach like Fanyamambo was trying to preach here. I think to be a politician you must be a very good preacher.
Yeah.
Has Maandamano come to an end? I think we need to appreciate what Maandamano has done. Maandamano has inspired Nigeria to do what they are doing. Maandamano has inspired Bangladesh to sleep on a bed that they never have slept on before. Maandamano has inspired the world to think that, wait a minute, people power is actually real power. Even here, Museveni is now threatened. And for us, when we send the police with batons, he usually sends those armored vehicles. And the message is clear: I'm going to shoot all of you if you come to the streets. But the fact that he's getting to a point where he's feeling, oh, this can happen in Uganda, is a good thing. So we commend our Gen Zs, and mine is to request them, please, from wherever you are, I think this is the time to take a step back and to say we have made our mark, we have done what we could have done. And I don't think planning nane tisa tisa kumi kumi is going to be the best solution for the country right now. Wait, a time is coming when there'll be another trigger like the finance bill. I've heard John Mbadi now saying things that I didn't believe he could say, that they are going to look at what was in the finance bill and find a way to repropose the same madness again. So just wait as Gen Zs. A time is coming when another group of Kenyans, and I can assure you, it will be ODM. This marriage is not going to last. Within a very short time, there will be a riot within government, and this will be a serious one. The Gen Zs who are going to the streets now are not the Gen Zs who are carrying iPhones. The Gen Zs who will come to the streets are coming from the informal settlements, and I can tell you that's going to be a big one. But the next Maandamano that is going to come is literally going to come from the opposition that has joined government.